What's up? I'm Chris.
And I'm Tony. We've got a great show for you today, you guys. Chris, what are we talking about?
That's right. We do have a great show today. We are talking about the Netflix documentary Push that we both just watched last night. Shocking. We're also going to be talking about the high school walkout that happened last week and our favorite, wifeisms.
Wifeisms. But before we get started, if you happen to hear a little bit of a haze going on, we are in Hilo, Hawaii.
Yes, we are.
And it has been raining for 40 days and 40 nights and another 40 days and 40 nights. And feels like for about 4 years straight, it's been raining. So
yes,
we apologize, but we don't. So just enjoy the weather with us.
That's right. And welcome back to the Poi and Pizza Show.
What do you mean eating poi and pizza? Who the hell would do that? Eat poi and pizza. Who does that? Idiots do that. You get diarrhea, you go eat poi and pizza.
Okay. So for the first topic, I get a text late last night which never surprises me when it comes from this guy.
Yeah.
But he says, whatever you do, watch the documentary. It's called The Push on Netflix.
And The Push?
The Push, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking for Push.
It makes sense, The Push. Okay.
Yeah. And he said, you have to watch it, but watch it to the very end. And I was like, oh, usually when we say, watch it, but it has that tone, like really watch it. So I stayed up late last night watching it. And Chris, give the premise of this because it is disturbing.
It is a very, very disturbing Netflix documentary. Go watch it if you get a chance. Basically, they try to see, there's this one dude, I don't know his name, but he's what they call a mentalist. I guess a mentalist is a thing now. So
mental magic, I think.
Kind of mental magic. So what they do is they stage this whole thing to see if they can get an ordinary, everyday person like you and like me to commit murder.
Seriously.
Or murder.
Murder. How to get away with murder.
Murder.
No, it is for real a documentary about can you get an average Joe or Jolene, I guess. Is that what you call the average female?
Joy. Average Joe, yeah.
I apologize, you guys. I'm blowing it away. Yeah. But yeah, so it's about social compliance. Social compliance.
So it's about using different things in society, in a sense, to get people to go along with the crowd. I mean, that's basically what it is.
It's exactly what it is. And how different things lead up to getting someone to do exactly what they want.
It's the craziest. If you have not watched it, you got to go watch it. It's only about an hour long.
Yeah.
But man, it keeps you on the edge of your seat for sure. I bet, we're probably beating a lot of people to the punch, but I bet this thing gets a lot of pub from all over the place.
Yeah, because it started in New Zealand. Yeah. And there was a bunch of critics that came out and said, no, we can't have this out there. Or we can't have this there. But like the reason when I got done with it, I immediately understood because I never really got how mainstream media could get a flock of people
to believe something
as a whole. And and if you've ever wondered that, you have to watch this. It is freaking scary.
It is scary.
And it gets you wondering at the end, what would I do?
Yeah.
And now don't get me wrong, you're probably sitting there wondering, well, wait a minute, what do you mean? What would you do? Would you murder him? But you have to see everything that leads up to that. And we don't want to give the end away.
But you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Because I was questioning myself. I never thought in a million years that I'll be able to do it. But after watching it, with my daughter, who was 16, we were both like, well, she was like, no way I would do it. No way I would do it. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, under the right circumstances, I don't know.
Yeah. But it is not the only thing that you would or would not do. Throughout this hour, there is probably 20 or 30 things that they tried to get him to comply to.
Yes.
And
for the most part,
he did. Some things he wouldn't. And each of those, I tried to take each instance and say, okay, would I comply with that? Would I comply with that? Wait a minute. Would I comply with that?
Right.
I'm going to give one away. Sticking vegetarian flags and non-vegetarian rolls.
Oh, yeah. And that was one of the smaller compliances.
That was one of the smallest compliance ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I had kind of a moral dilemma with that, but But the way that they put the pressure
On him.
and just basically forced him and said, all right, let's go. Put him in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it brings the question, have you ever been socially pushed?
Yeah, socially pushed. That's the proper way to say it.
To do something. And so I go back to my 8th grade year.
Okay.
Every year in our middle school, you had a competition, and then the 8th graders always won it every year.
Okay.
And the winner of that competition gets like a day at Six Flags, so an amusement park. Okay.
Okay.
So every year I'd done it. Well, my class, where I grew up, is habitually lazy.
Okay.
We were the first 8th grade class that did not win.
Oh wow.
It was like a bottle cap. You had to collect bottle caps, and whoever collected the most won. And the 8th graders, I don't know how, but they always won. We didn't win.
Wow.
So a group of our 8th graders staged a walkout at our school. Mind you, my mom's a teacher.
Okay.
Okay.
A walkout for?
Because we didn't get our trip. The
Oh my
6th
God.
graders, the 6th graders won it, and the 6th graders won the trip to
Are you
Six Flags.
serious?
Yes. So I could care less about going to Six Flags. We
yeah.
went with my family. Like I
Sure.
really didn't care.
Sure.
But everyone's like, dude, you can't not walk out. You can't be a scab. You have to walk out. And I'm like, if I walk out, I'm going to be in trouble, and I'm not going to be able to play this weekend in sports, whatever. They're like, no one's going to get in trouble. Everyone's walking out. What are they going to do? Give the whole class detention? So I walked out,
And your mom's a teacher, dude.
and I got in trouble. And we didn't go to Six Flags. But my question to you, have you been socially pushed?
You know, probably nothing comes to mind completely, but in high school, well, clearly I should say, nothing comes to mind clearly, but in high school, you know, I went to boarding school, you know, so it was a bunch of teenage dudes. You know, we did stuff like drink alcohol and stuff like that. So, you know, that was probably part of it, wanting to be a part of that crowd, you know, not wanting to be on the outside looking in and stuff.
Right.
I can't think of anything specific like that, but yeah, I mean, most definitely sometime in my life, and we've all done it. There's a book by Robert Cialdini called Influence that talks about specifically about social proof and how we look to other people as a shortcut. Instead of doing research ourselves, we look to other people for cues so that we can make decisions. And that's what the push was basically about. It was just looking for, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it got that far, but they got it to go that far.
It's unbelievable. Well, so influence is also about, you know, being able to control conversations.
Yeah.
And that's been a big thing in like sales and things like that.
Yeah.
What makes a good salesperson? The ability to influence others to do maybe what they may or may not. I have another instance of when I was, I swear, guys, I'm really stronger than this. But this was my senior year of high school. Okay. I was injured. So it was during basketball season, my senior year, right? I got injured, so I was out for like 4 weeks. I fractured my elbow.
Okay.
So during lunch, we had an open campus. So for lunch, we all left. I remember it was me and 2 other seniors, and we had 2 freshmen with us. And the other 2 seniors I were with were just a-holes. And they were the type that liked to haze the freshmen. And I wasn't about that.
Okay.
And so we went to Wendy's, and they said, all right, go bring us our food and go clean up our table. I was like, guys, you don't have to get mine. Like, I've got it. I'm not about to have these kids do it. So this is at the time where Liar Liar came out.
Okay.
And remember when they threw the pickles on the window and they raced down?
Yeah.
Okay. So our idiot friends decide to do that. And I'm like, and I was always taught to be respectful. I didn't want to do that because I worked fast food. I didn't want to clean it up.
Yeah.
I didn't want the people to clean it up. So I wasn't taking any part of that. And we all had our letter jackets on. And so they were making a mess. And then they told the freshmen, clean it up. So the freshmen just made it worse because you have ketchup and mayonnaise now and pickles on a window, and they're using napkins, and it's a mess. So as we're leaving, the other 2 seniors said, well, because you guys didn't clean it up, you guys got to ride back to the high school in the trunk.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. He's like, nope. This is their hazing. You guys are riding back in the trunk. And dude, I was driving.
Oh, man.
And I didn't want to. I told them, no. They rode back in the trunk.
Wow.
Okay. By the time we got back to school, the idiots didn't realize that everyone has letter jackets on with their last names on the back.
Oh.
Wendy's calls the school and says, hey, you got Brown, Anderson, and Ms. coming back to your school with children in the trunk of the car.
Oh, my gosh.
So we all got brought in, and they got suspended for 3 games.
Wow.
And so I would have been suspended had I not been hurt, but they gave me time served for being
crazy.
hurt. So
you were pushed.
I was pushed, and it was a very bully mentality that was doing it. And so you know,
well, you know, which basically brings us to, you know, the high school walkout. And you know, I had friends on Facebook saying, oh, you know, they weren't forced or this and that, but the pressure at that age, the peer pressure at that age is so great. If everyone's walking out, you're walking out.
Right.
You know? I mean, it takes a lot to stand up to that.
It does.
Teenage pressure.
It does. And I can tell you, because me as a high school student was impressionable. And I was bully pushed into doing that.
Yeah.
Now there's been instances where I'm like, I don't care what people think. You know, and maybe it's just like, you know, growing up to be blunt as an adult.
Yeah.
You don't really care, you know, if you don't do what they're pushing, because in high school it's all about what are they going to think.
Yeah. It's all about that, right?
So this walkout now in the high school is a lot of the students don't even know, and they don't even support. What the walkout, because they don't realize that the walkout, what it's about.
Yeah.
And you just showed me a video. That was outstanding, and I'll see if we can put that video up.
Or at least get a link to it.
Or at least get a link to it.
Yeah. About a young girl who stood up and, you know, she didn't talk about politics. She didn't talk about legislation. She didn't talk about guns. She talked about how they treat each other.
And bullying.
And that's really what the true issue is. You know, it's not, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, there are some people who are like, no doubt it's the gun's fault. And, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. The walkout was 17 minutes because 17 kids died. So that's the whole reason why they had the walkout, was to honor these students. But some kids, you know, took the podium or whatever, got their 17 minutes of fame and started to, you know, talk about guns and legislation, and about, you know, one kid said, you know, the adults have let us down. And he may be right, okay? I'm not going to disagree with him, because he may be right. We may have let them down. We may have let this group of kids down. But in my opinion, I feel like we've let them down by allowing them to blame other things and not reflect on themselves.
Right.
And not look at themselves in the mirror. I feel like
not take responsibility.
Our generation hasn't done a good job of allowing our kids to take responsibility for their own actions. That's where I feel like we've let them down.
Yep.
You know, I don't believe any type of legislation is going to stop it. I don't believe, you know, banning guns is going to stop it. If you could take all the guns out of the world, maybe, but you've already opened Pandora's box. But I'm not talking about the shootings. I'm talking about these kids getting bullied in school.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the shooting.
And that was the premise of this young girl. She gets up on the stage and she says, honestly, we're going to get up here and do 17 minutes of nothing.
Right.
Because most of you are coming out just because you didn't want to go to class.
Yeah.
And you're not willing to take notice of what the real issue at hand is treat people with love and caring and respect.
Yes.
And that's...
Have lunch with them.
Sit with them at lunch.
Sit with them, yeah. You know, stuff like that. That's what it's really about.
How many of these kids, realistically, how many of these kids that did the high school, that did the school shootings, I'm not talking about the adults at work or wherever else, just the kids in high school, how many less shootings would there have been had people just been friends and nice to those kids?
Yeah, been caring, right? Because this last one, you know, like the kids weren't surprised that it was him.
They all knew, which means if they all knew that this was the kid that was going to shoot him up, why didn't someone reach out to him and say, dude, let's talk. It's because what's going on?
It's because of the social compliance,
right?
The social proof that goes on in school.
Well, and it's the social bullying of, dude, you don't go hang out with him.
Yeah,
you can. No. That's the one guy. That's so that.
There's you know, one of the things that you know, I realize in kind of debating the issue with my brother, who kind of stands on the other side from it. Is he was right about the fact that this is a multi-pronged issue. Like there's so many more things going on. Like the issue is super deep and stuff. So there's a lot going on. But what? Just watching the push last night and then connecting it to how the media has been able to get these kids even to stand up for
on their agenda.
Yeah, for their agenda. That's a little bit concerning. I mean, it really is a little bit concerning. And I'll be honest, I had a teenage kid. I didn't really discuss this with them. My two teenagers, one of them walked out. The other one, didn't. She said, I'm not walking out. I'm going to stay right here in class. But, my other one walked out. I said, well, why did you walk out? She's like, I don't know. I didn't want to go to class. I mean, so I have two kids in that demographic.
Yeah.
Who dealt with the walkout and dealt with it in completely different ways, which is ironic.
And for different reasons.
Yeah, which is ironic the way it turned out, though, because the one that walked out is normally the one that you cannot convince her of anything that she doesn't believe. Mm-hmm. While the other one is a little bit more compliant,
impressionable,
what I mean? Yeah. So this whole thing ties into what's happening right now with the media on both sides. Both sides of the line, I believe. So it was, but again, getting back to the push, like you need to go watch it if you didn't watch it, because it's gonna explain a lot about how the media works as well, without you even knowing that the media is working on you. They're working on you.
They are.
Yeah, they totally are.
They are. Yeah, and before we move on to the last subject, the one thing I noticed was as they were I don't want to give the spoiler, but as they were at the end.
Yeah, okay, don't spoil it.
And you hear the key phrases.
Oh, yeah.
Because the TV's playing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because they're up top, the TV's in the background, and it's the key phrases that the group is telling them, the TV's telling them, and it's that reiteration, constant.
Adolf Hitler did it. Adolf Hitler did it to millions of people.
And they talk about that. They talk about you can manipulate a country.
You really can.
And we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. Look, not to play political sides, but on both sides, you can see with the mainstream media.
Yeah.
How easily I see it at home when I hear when my daughter's home and she's forced to watch The View, which she is.
Yeah.
And she's telling me this stuff, and I'm mad because she's getting manipulated. By false narratives. And it is very, very frustrating.
It's getting ingrained in her. Yeah.
Yes. And so trying to nip that.
Sure.
That's another show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show because we need to. Yeah, because we need to be careful with what people feed our kids.
Yes.
But yeah, I totally 100% agree. I mean, Hitler did it, and in fact, there's that one video on the beach. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can find it later on, and maybe just put it on. But it talks about remember that one guy dancing, and then like
it was on the hill. Dancing? It was on the hill.
Yeah,
the grassy hill.
Yeah, and then the second guy comes dancing. All of a sudden, like there's this group of people.
Yep.
From one person turns into two. All you need is that first follower. Yep. And once you have that first follower, everything else. Comes into play, and that's the same concept. It's the whole social proof thing. If you have enough people saying the same thing, you can get the masses to believe it.
That's true.
I mean, that's really what it's about.
That's
crazy.
False, but that's true. But that's false.
Crazy. But again, one more time, it's called The Push. It's a Netflix documentary.
It's only an hour. Watch it.
Yeah, it's only an hour long. Take some time and watch that thing. That thing is heavy.
Yep. Watch it first by yourself, and then if you have teenage kids, watch it with them, or watch it straight up with them, and just be able to have that conversation. Look, I want Cole to watch it because I want him to know because the more conscious you are that there's manipulation around, you're less likely
to give into it.
Right.
That's right.
But when you just go with tunnel vision and
not know that it's happening,
right?
Because these guys had no idea that it was happening to them.
Right.
They had no idea. Mm-hmm. So yeah. If you have a teenage kid, watch it with your teenage kid because they're giving into a lot of stuff that they don't want to do. So go check it out.
Yep.
But speaking of TV shows, we're gonna get into our next.
Yes. So
we're gonna get into our wifeism, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I'm gonna lead this one off because this I've been sick. Felt like I've been on my deathbed. But I guess I've been suffering from the man flu, but real sickness and maybe some of the man flu. But on Friday,
it was Friday.
I text Chris and I said, dude, because March Madness is going on, and it is madness.
NCAA basketball.
And it is the best tournament I've seen in
I agree.
Ever. And
I agree.
So I text Chris because the 16 seed UMBC Retrievers, right?
Yeah, the Retrievers.
We're taking on the number 1 seed in the entire tournament, Virginia.
Right.
And they were hanging with them.
Yeah.
And I text Chris, and it's the second half, and they're up by 8. And I text him, and there's still like 15 minutes to go in the second half. And I said, dude, are you watching this? This is going to be the greatest upset in sports history. And within 30 seconds, I get a reply, and I quote, no, my wife is watching Hallmark movies. To where,
one TV in the house. Well, we have 2 TVs, but the second one's crappy.
To where I grab my phone and I go, huh? I think I texted him back and said, you do realize this will be the first time ever a 16 seed beats a 1 seed, and you're watching a Hallmark movie? And he says, yeah, not a chance it's happening. And I reply to him and I say, Chris.
No, first you said, ha 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 ha.
Oh, yeah.
Ha 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 ha. Then you said, Chris.
Then I said, Chris, tell Haunani that the pretty hometown girl is going to go back home after moving to the big city with her CEO fiance, who turns out to be an a-hole, where she meets her ex-boyfriend from high school
who's working at the bakery,
who's working at the bakery, or makes a glass shop, or whatever. But he's a do-good,
a sculptor,
right? And the whole town loves him, and he's the hometown boy. And she falls back in love with him. She finds out her fiance is an a-hole, and she gets back together. You know, with some weird thing happening at the end, only at the very end to find out that she really does love her old dude, and then the fiance becomes an a-hole and leaves. Tell her that, and he's like, "Wait a minute." You've seen this one before? And he's like, and then he starts laughing because we've had this conversation. Every Hallmark movie,
especially Christmas,
is the same.
And I walk in the living room and I ask my wife, whenever she's watching a Hallmark movie, I ask her, which guy is the a-hole CEO and which guy is a hometown, homegrown? And she gets so pissed. She gets so mad because I tell her every time, everyone's the same. If you've watched one, you've watched them all. What's the big deal? Like, but she just cannot get enough of the same movie over and over again.
Yep. Hallmark, get new writers. You have one writer that's been writing for 15 years.
Maybe there's not enough romance in our lives. I don't know, but I'm not the only dude that says this. All right? There's a lot of guys out there who say that their wives love Hallmark movies. They don't care if it's the same movie over and over and over and over and over again. They watch it.
Yes.
It's the worst wifeism ever because you lose control of the best TV in the house for a movie that's been made
20 times.
20 times.
That she could literally wait an hour and the next movie after, she's going to have the same one and she can watch it from the beginning on.
You're right. Exactly.
So I proceed to text Chris and say, this cannot happen. You have to download the app. A 16 is going to beat a 1. And he did.
Thank God I did.
And life was normal again. But for a minute, I almost had to drive to his house, yank his man card out of his wallet, and confiscate it for at least a month, because that would have been a month-long penalty had he missed the greatest upset.
So true.
And
for a Hallmark movie.
For a Hallmark movie.
The greatest upset of all time. Well, the second greatest upset, but we have
I literally almost peed myself when you said, "Yeah, not gonna happen." Well, after my ha-ha-has.
Yeah.
When you said Hallmark movie, not gonna happen.
So guys, ladies, whoever listens, whoever watches, come on, let's be honest. Hallmark movies, it's the same thing over and over and over again. That's a big wifeism because, like I said, I lose control of the TV for that whole time. She'll watch 3 or 4 movies in one sitting sometimes. It's the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
So here's the moral. Okay, so here's the actual wifeism.
Yeah.
Dudes, okay? Doesn't matter if it's the NCAA tournament and the greatest upset in sports history, you are not switching from a Hallmark movie to a sporting event that happens once in your lifetime ever.
You're not getting it.
Just understand that.
No.
That is life if you're dating or married.
I wasn't even going to ask because I knew the answer already.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't I walked out there, saw the TV taken, I saw it on the Hallmark channel, and all I did was ask her, so who's the CEO, who's the AHO CEO, and who's the hometown baker guy? And she lost it. She was upset.
Yep. I can just picture Chris walking in the room, excited.
Yeah.
Sweet 16, or here we go. And he walks in and he hears the music, the same music that they play in everyone. And it's got that soft filter.
Yeah.
Everyone has that stupid soft filter. And he just hears the mom welcoming him home, and just the shoulders and the head.
Yeah. Yeah. And then at the end.
And the self-defeat.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I think it's at the end too where, the girl is in the limousine with the guy heading to the airport.
To leave.
And then it switches back to the hometown guy, and all of a sudden she shows up in a taxi.
Yeah.
Because she decided.
The door's opening for her to get into the thing.
Yeah, she decided she didn't want to go back to New York or whatever with the guy. Something like that was happening at the end. But Hallmark Movies, the bane of a male's existence. We just, I know there's going to be someone who are going to say, oh, my husband loves watching those movies with me. No, he doesn't.
No.
He doesn't love watching it.
And you know what? We've been there. We've told our wives, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She chose him.
Yeah. He wants something.
Yeah.
That's why he's watching it with you. He wants something.
The one time you get your wife to cuddle with you is probably during a freaking Hallmark movie.
During a Hallmark movie, yeah. Probably.
I mean, yeah. So the wives don't even get all strong like, well,
no.
My husband's not too man enough to watch a Hallmark.
Yeah.
No, he does it because he has to.
Yeah.
All right? That's part of the code.
Pretty much.
Okay?
Pretty much. So.
But all we ask, wives, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Turn the channel.
Okay? But I know what you're going to say. There's always a sporting event. There's not always a 16 beating a 1, though.
No, there isn't.
I'm just saying.
There isn't.
All right. Any big things going on?
No.
With you?
No. Other than all this rain, so in Hilo we've had rain for 2 months straight. We finally got 3 days of sun, which is a big reason why we still did not do our race, our 40-yard dash race.
Oh, that's right.
So the weather has been totally awful over here in Hilo. Well, it's been rainy. Like, I love the rain, but 2 months is like ridiculous.
I think Chris organized this knowing that we're not going to be able to run in the rain.
I am over it.
Yeah.
I've stood up to every challenge.
I got something for you, though.
Okay.
I watched Coco yesterday. Coco is the new Disney, DreamWorks, Pixar animated Disney movie.
Is it a dog or a person?
No, it's a boy.
Okay.
So Moana took the Polynesian culture and made a movie out, and they did an outstanding job. Coco took the Latino culture.
Okay.
And I've got to tell you, this is one of the first ever animated movies that brought a tear to my eye.
Really?
It was outstandingly done. It was amazing. I was texting my best friend as I'm watching it.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, everything from the grandma pulling off her chatas to throwing to hit people with. I mean, it took... I didn't grow up in a Latino culture, but I grew up around it, and I grew up with my best friend basically in it.
Okay.
And
whoa, that's because he is it.
Well, yeah, he is it. He is it. But I didn't grow up from a child through it. But so I was just, I mean, it was really enjoyable. So I mean, if you guys have a chance, we watched it with the girls. Okay. Grandma was crying. The girls were crying.
So you're telling me, wait. So
I wasn't crying.
So this
I had a tear.
This is the first time you teared up
on an animated movie.
Okay, so you're telling me that when Mufasa fell off that cliff and was run over, and Simba, was run over by all the...
Oh.
You're telling me that you
I don't think I did.
Shed a tear.
This is worse than that.
Simba was...
No.
When Simba lost his dad and was totally devastated.
I was younger and macho then. I'm old and soft now.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, that came out in 98.
I don't know when that came out. A long time ago, though.
Yeah. I was young, macho. I was with,
I think I shed a tear for that. For that.
This one?
But I'm a kind of teary guy. So.
Yeah, this one brought a tear. So,
Coco. Okay.
Yeah, Coco. The Push and Coco.
Yes, absolutely. Get those done.
Yep. All right, guys. That's going to wrap up this episode. Thanks for joining us. As always, like us, share us, comment us.
Yeah, and go watch The Push.
Yes.
All right. Have a great week. We'll see you guys next week. Keep your pizza hot and your poi fresh. Aloha.
What do you mean eating poi and pizza? Who the hell would do that? Eat poi and pizza. Who does that? Idiots do that. You get diarrhea, you go eat poi and pizza.